You look stiff. Yo, dog, I'm talking to you. What's wrong? Where did you go?
This guy supports me anymore. He doesn't want anything with it.
Wait. What happened?
I don't know. He just.
What happened?
I don't know. Just text me. First that episode. How do if you try again? Sometime in the year or down the road when you are not too bad established, and that is an event.
Okay, so he told you you weren't well prepared, and that happens.
I was so close.
Well, you need to over prepare. It's like I always say, you need to over prepare. There's nothing you can do about it. It's really nice. So I saw your Reddit post got a bunch of people. That was an actual idea, but it turned out to be really good.
I failed miserably.
You didn't feel miserably. You didn't feel miserable. This guy Bryce is following no mental health coach has 2 million Instagram people. I find those people ones that just have been on the internet long enough. I know professional athletes who don't get 2 million people. So no, some guy that nobody knows gets 2 million people. No, these people buy that stuff. So you know, and he didn't say no. He just said you need to become more established. And, it's just one of those things. You weren't ready, and you can't be down on yourself. You just have to use it as a lesson. This wasn't going to make or break you. So don't think that this was the one fish that got away and you'd be famous after this. Not even it would have gotten maybe 300 views. And that's it's not. It's just how it is. He's really nice though. He's really nice. He just said you're not prepared enough, and that's totally understandable. You weren't, but that's not. That's just something you learn from this, and you can't be down on yourself. If anything, you use this as a lesson. It's not like he said I'll never do it again. Well, contact him in 6 months. I would respond to him. I completely understand. I sincerely appreciate the efforts, and I will do everything that I can to be more prepared when we do this again in the future. Thank you again. Please, everybody.
I feel like I must have
but then he ended up winning the World Cup.
Yeah.
So you can't be too down on yourself. So don't be sad. You hear me?
How people live with friends, right? That was you too. And my friend,
Can you repeat that? Apologies, I cut off. Can you repeat what you said?
I said that I don't know. I had everybody now because like this was the first ever big time like like client that I grew.
That,
So
that's
yeah,
incorrect. That's incorrect. You didn't let anyone down. And you've had big clients on before. Frankly, people I think are bigger. I think the ESPN guy's bigger than this guy. So you shouldn't feel like you let anybody down. That's the wrong thinking. Okay? Again, it's not that big a deal. You will you will use this as a learning lesson.
but like because but like if you are growing with the US student or also Instagram where we sell to you already interview and you know people going around where we sell to.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be happy. But I would also be like, I didn't necessarily blow with this guy. He's going to give me another opportunity. It's not like he said, "You suck, get out of my life. I hate you." He didn't say that at all. He's really, really nice. And if he ever watches this, I completely understand where he's coming from. But he's really nice to treat you the way that he did. Totally cool. So there's nothing to be sad about. He's just going to do it in the future. You just have to delay it. No big deal. And you use this as a learning lesson. You'll be okay. There's no reason to be sad.
This might be first big fail. The first it was fair that
I mean, you control so much. It's okay. I've had issues. I had a guy who had a lot of people who download his podcast, and I had technical issues. You know what I did? It motivated me to switch my computers. It motivated me to change up how I do a podcast so that I at least do everything I can to hopefully avoid that in the future. And it should do the same thing for you. What do I mean by that? It means that you, in the future, should be more prepared. You should have your stuff printed. You should have your stuff ready. You, you get it. And and here's the thing: how many times did you read through the questions aloud? Okay, you should read through them 25 times. And here's why: you and I both know you have speaking issues, and you need to over prepare, especially because of that. When you come out, you don't want to be stubborn. You don't want it to look unprofessional. You want it to look like you rehearse this. You know what you're doing. And so when another person, I might say, "Oh, I'll read it 2 or 3 times." Other people don't have the same issues. you have more of a challenge. But that doesn't mean you can't deliver. That doesn't mean that you can't do an amazing job. But you just have to recognize that you have some challenges. Look, I stutter sometimes. Other people stutter sometimes. It's just a thing that happens. That's why you have to make sure that you prepare as well as possible. And so, when you're like, I read through them one time, if you read through something one time, chances are it's not going to come off as smoothly as if you read through it aloud 10 times or 25 times. If I read, I would read through these things 25 times that I have it memorized, that I don't even have to think about it. Like, I understand it. There's nothing to do about it now. Except tell the man, thank you so much for the opportunity. I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. I won't let you down. I look forward to podcasting in the future when I'm better. I understand. If you need anything in the meantime, let me know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is he from the United States?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. You'll understand. And look, you should look on the bright side. I looked at your one post that you were like, I don't want to do this, and I got to go do all this other stuff. I have to prepare a thumbnail for this guy and do all kinds of other stuff that frankly doesn't do anything for us right now. And you've got at least 4 people I saw who had replied. Did you post in the other Reddit subreddit? Okay, I'm saying to you that it's a good idea. If you had, then that would give you what 8 hours or so since we had that conversation for people to be able to be lining up, and that you never know. Any one of those people might have 3 million people with whom they're connected. I'm telling you, look, that guy. If he's watching this, I know he probably is part of it. It's really at that point when you have 2 million social media, 2 million people on Instagram, you're a celebrity. And this guy's not a celebrity. Nobody knows who he is. So he's buying these things. I know he's buying these things. I can tell you right now, he has 8,000 people on his Discord. I'm not nearly at his level. Not nearly at his level. And I have almost half. So he's not like anything that I see inflated numbers. And if I'm wrong to see that, all I see all day long on the internet and social media is inflated numbers. I've even said that I'm inflating my numbers. So everybody does it at a certain point. You can't let this get you down. Okay? You'll be okay. You're gonna be okay?
Yeah. I just overslept. I just overslept. Wake up. But why I cannot wake up in usage? Why I wake up with other usage? Every time I wake up, it's like bad. I don't know what. Every time I go sleep,
I'll tell you. You want my opinion? I'll give it to you. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'll be straight. You don't prepare well. No, not fuck up. No, you don't prepare well. You are overconfident in your abilities, and there's a saying in sports. You need to. Let me look it up. It's saying sports. You need to practice like there's like a really good saying that I've heard. You need to practice like uh, well, you play how you practice like you play. There's some other ones though that are like, uh, but like you. So what did we learn? You need to be more well prepared. You need to read through the questions. You need to make sure that you don't go in like very confident. You can't go in with confidence, but not overconfidence. You should be well prepared. So every podcast that you do from now until the day you die, from good, hopefully transhumanism, you're able to live forever or indefinitely, or as long as you want. But listen to me on this. You need to remember this moment and say, can I do everything I can to avoid that in the future? So that when I have questions to ask, I'm not just going to read them one time in my mind or on the computer screen. I'm going to read them at least 25 times out loud so that I come across very, very prepared. There is no hesitancy. And I've watched a lot of people, more than I would have thought, who have some speech issue. You're working through them. So there's nothing I can do to fix that. But just there is a way. I've seen people with the same speech issues that you have. And if they whisper, they don't stutter. Have you ever tried to whisper? Okay. I'm not saying it's going to work for you. And your stutter isn't very good. But when you get nervous, if you prepare better, then you're not being nervous. You're going to be able to focus. I think it's endearing. I like it about you, but I understand that it's something with which you struggle, it's something with which you have sought medical assistance, and it's something that probably is going around you. You should know you're not the only one who does it. I stutter sometimes. Other people stutter. Um, it's just part of life. But that's not like he. So he said no because you weren't well prepared, and that's cool. So you know how you get somebody to be well prepared? You make. Let me ask. Did you send them an email beforehand? Okay. Now this one I could get pissed off about. I'm not going to. But didn't I tell you before every single interview you do, you send them an interview? Yeah. And you also send them an interview of things that for them to be prepared. Like have good connection. I can send this to you if you want. Have good connection. Make sure that you are well lit. Make sure that you have headphones. Like all the things that you need. That tells somebody, hey, this person's ready. As opposed to like, oh well, we'll just see. I'm at my grandma's house and I better get home in the next 30 minutes so that I'm able to do this. Um, some other things, you can send that link for Riverside well before the time. I've been doing a lot of podcasts recently, as you know, and I don't like it when a host says, I'll see the link right before. I don't like that. I like to be well prepared for a podcast. I over prepare for podcasts many times. I really do. And it shows. I can do a 3 hour podcast with some people, and I have so many notes because I literally spent 12 hours the day before just practicing. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, and by no means that, but, but I do my best so that when the podcast is done, I say to myself, there's nothing more I could have done to be able to prepare any better than I did. And then I even do a debriefing when I'm done. How could this have gone better? And that's something that you should do too after all your podcasts. I've done it after your podcast. How could I have done this better? What would I have done? Would I have changed the lighting? Would I have changed the font on my computer screen? Would I have come earlier? Would I have used a different set of headphones? I do. I go through it all. Uh, in your case, this needs to be a lesson. You need to send out an email beforehand. Did you create a calendar account?
I think I have. Yeah. Okay, for stuff.
What do you create for a cover band? It doesn't make any sense.
Like, I go to I send.
No, that's not what, that's not, did I say Google Calendar? Did you hear me say Google Calendar? Okay, so why do you think I said Google Calendar? I didn't say Google Calendar. You know what I said?
Yeah.
Calendar. Or calendar. It's a different website. It's Google Calendar. If I mean Google Calendar, only I will say Google Calendar. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Calendar, which is a different website that gives people an opportunity to schedule with you. So you don't have to sit there and be like, okay, what's in my time zone versus your time zone? They just pick a time and then it sets it up for you, and you don't have this. But that will make it show that you're more prepared. I'm just look. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I don't want this to happen to you. I want you to be as well prepared as possible. And the way that you can be very well prepared is calendar link. So you don't know what that is. Google that, Calendly, CALY, I believe is how it's spelled, and you create an account. It's free. Every single thing that I have talked to you about ever in our friendship has been free, and this is free as well. You need to do it. You need to send the person an email beforehand. And you can automate this. You can have this sent out automatically. Hey, I want you to know that we're going to be having a conversation in the next day. Here's how you can prepare. If there's anything you need from me, send me an email. I'd be happy to help you. I can say in that email, I would love it once we are able to meet and talk and everything. If you would post this to your social media, that would mean a lot to me. And then you don't have to say at the end, oh, yeah, can you please do this? Can you please do this? If you got an email, you can remind them certainly. That's not a bad idea. But I know this is like, you feel like the fish was on the line and it got away. It didn't get away. This guy was really, really nice. Really nice. And said, hey, Tony, you're just not ready for me. That doesn't mean that I don't have confidence that you won't be ready in 6 months or years. But right now, you're not ready. And he felt that you weren't ready for him. Do I think you were ready for him? No, I really didn't. You don't do the things that you need to do to take your podcast to another level, which is all the preparation part. Um, but you get there. So don't think that like this is like the end of the world and you don't have a podcast anymore. This isn't a big deal. YouTube did not flag your account saying you no longer have access to it, right?
Right.
Okay. Now imagine you get that email. I get that email all the time. YouTube sends me something that says, for whatever reason, ban invasion or copyright strike or whatever, we take it back. Do you think I get sad when that happens? Never. I get better. That means I make more. That means I spread out even further. I did that with Rumble. I don't know if I told you, but Rumble took down a bunch of my accounts just recently. And so you know what I did? I made like 30 Rumble accounts today. And I'm going to be even better. I didn't necessarily lose the content because I had enough. You know why? Because I learned from my previous mistakes. And you'll learn too. Let me ask you this. Do you have a backup account?
No,
So what happened? Okay, so what would you do?
I know because I think I will be easy to that because people will develop again too.
Yeah, that's not the big deal. No, it's about the content. Photos, where would you do them? You have them saved on
I
right?
I have seen yes, I have seven episodes.
Okay, that's good. How long does your set stay?
For like uh, how 1 year.
Okay, that's not good enough. I upload them to Google Drive as well. And also there's a website called Terabox, which allows you one free tab. And I could have multiple backups. That's what I have to do with my stuff, multiple backups. It's very important. Okay,
So
but I understand that you're heartbroken, but you shouldn't be. It could have been a lot worse. He could have said, I'm never going to be on your podcast again, you offended me. He could have said that I'm going to put out a post saying, don't ever go on this guy's podcast because he's unprepared. He didn't do that. He was very nice. And if he ever sees me saying this, I have a very high respect of him that he did what he did. He has, you have to understand, he has a certain, he has 2 million people allegedly. He wants it to be with someone who looks professional. I'll be honest with you, Tony, yours could look more professional. We've talked about this. You need a green screen. And I know you don't want a green screen, but you need one. I mean, when you're doing a podcast, you want it to look like you are as smart as possible, you're prepared as possible. Not that you're doing this from an apartment. And I know you're not, but that's what it looks like. When you have a green screen, it makes it look like you're prepared. And you can say, well, Rabbi, I'm looking at you right now, and you're in a t-shirt and shorts, and you're just sitting on the bed. I understand that. But when I do a podcast, I learned my lesson. I saw my podcast, and I was like, you know what? I could look more professional. I saw my early ones with you, where I'm just on a phone. I didn't take you that serious. And I should, because I was new as well to getting back into podcasting. And you've seen changes in what I do in my setup. I said, you know what? I can't just do this on my cell phone. I need to do that on a computer. And I don't want to have it with just a cryptocurrency background that I have. I'm going to have a cool space background, and I'll be able to promote myself. Even I've had to change since connecting with you. And I want you to know your background isn't bad. It's just not as prepared as you could. This guy would have a different take on you if you had a super prepared background and you had super prepared notes and you had sent him an email beforehand, like we had talked about, and you had like a plan for him. He just didn't see that. So you do that in the future with all of your new ones, and you also cannot cannot do two things. I say this because I want you to be as successful as possible. I say this like your father or like your brother. But two things. One, when you're reading something and there's a letter, you have to say the letter. So what's an example that I heard you read? It was something like, "Do you want to be on podcast?" Something like that. Uh, it, Actually, the writing was, "Do you want to be on my podcast?" Okay. But when you say, "Do you want to be on podcast?" this doesn't make you sound as fluent in English because I know you are. We have conversations, deep conversations on it, and your English is very good. But when you're reading it, you want to make sure to read every single word. And the other thing that I wanted to say was when I say something, or anyone says something, and you kind of mishear it, like I said, calendar, you thought that might be Google Calendar, you can't assume. You should stop and say, Rabbi, you said Calendar, is that the same as Google Calendar? And I would say, actually, no, they're two completely separate things. They just have similar names. Okay? So those are two things that you can do to make sure if you're reading something in English, that you're making sure you're reading all of the words. And when you're listening to someone, if something doesn't sound exactly right, I understand we're like music, technology, it doesn't always come through the modes you want. But you have to clarify. Oh, do you mean, I heard you say calendar? Is that Google Calendar? No, it's not. It's actually different. But it's similar. Well, it's not even that. It's a calendar. So I'll have it with some similarity. All right.
So do you think we have not a chance?
Absolutely. No, you can have 50 guys bigger than this guy. This is not a big deal. Not a big deal. It really is. If I thought, if you came in here and you were like, Rabbi, they took down my YouTube account, that's more of a serious thing than some random guy who, and you can still publish a podcast and like, but you still did it. Um, Let me ask you this. Look, I see what he's saying too. You're still small. He's got 2 million people. You have 100. So you got to compare. he has an ego, but he's inflated a little bit. He just recognizes that you're not that big. He doesn't know all the work that you put into it and how you work, you have successful business. But do I think you're going to have him give him another chance? Yes. I bet you get another guy like him in the next 3 months. Easy. Easy. And I don't think he would have been your biggest person you've ever interviewed. The soccer guy works for ESPN. The UFC guy, that guy's big enough, bigger than all combined. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. This guy, yeah, he looks good on social media. But how many people would have followed you? Not that. It just doesn't work that way. So you just gotta. What? Let me ask you. What did you learn? I've told you all the things that you could do differently. What did you? Yeah, that's really good. That's a great way to look at it. That's a really great way to look at it.
Anybody.
That's it. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And you know what? This is something that my rabbinical colleagues have taught me my whole life, and it's something that I'm going to teach you. Don't ever have it count. Do you know what that means? It means don't ever think that it's in the back. You always have to see it all the way through, completely. Meaning, like, okay, so imagine you're playing soccer and you juke the goalie, and there's nobody between you and the soccer ball, and you just think that you're going to score, so you're going to do some kind of trick in order to score, like bounce it off your chest or kick it up in the air. Don't ever feel like nothing can go wrong because something can always go. Does that make sense? So that's how you should feel. Is that like in this case, you were like, oh, I've got it lined up, and we're gonna do this podcast. It'll go fine. I got the questions, and and we're just gonna just go about it, and whatever. It'll be cool. You can't have it count. You have to say to yourself, a lot of things could go wrong. My internet could go down. My computer could crash. I could lose the he could lose internet access. He could have some telephone call that pulls him away. He could lose power. I could lose power. All the things that could go wrong. You always have to do it. A lot of things could go wrong. Let me ask you this. Why don't you do a green screen? Why don't you? I mean, they have that feature in Riverside, I believe. Tony, why? I asked you a question. Why don't you do a green screen? It's a good question. Just ask. Hello? If you're like, I'm totally against green screen, okay, I didn't know. I'm just asking. Like, it makes you look more prepared. Is there a reason why you're against green screens? If you're like, I am so proud of my room, I want everybody to see it. Okay, then just tell me that. Are you still there? Tony, Tony, are you there? Did you disconnect? Hey, there he is. Can you hear me? Are you there? That's okay. No, don't worry. So my question to you, and again, I'll say what I was saying to them if you heard. If you're like, "Grandma, I'm so proud of my room. I want people to see it." Okay, I understand. But basically, it's just like anybody else's room. Why wouldn't you want to take it a level higher and say, "I'm going to make it look like very modern and professional behind me, so I look more prepared"? Why would you be against the green screen? Hold on, hold on. Your camera's fine, and you can have a digital green screen. You don't even need anything in the background. Meaning, with OBS, do you know what OBS is? We, yeah, so we put a green screen. It'll do it digitally. It'll cut out around your head. I know what you're going to say. Rabbi, I see what it does to you and it cuts off part of you. Yeah, I understand. I don't have it adjusted as well as I do. So that it makes it really, really nice. So I can make it look even better. I just can't. But you can do the same. If anything, you can at least blur the background so that people don't focus on your camper or your bookshelf or your door or your closet, and they focus on you. Um, that's something we can do. It's not hard. We're not going to do it right now, no, but like before your next podcast, it's something we should get to. And then you can do something really, really cool. you're gonna get another opportunity at people bigger than this guy, perhaps in the next 90 days. Look, I don't know why you're not thrilled. You put out a Reddit post and you got like 4 people on it. You got 4 more people who are gonna be on your podcast. Aren't you happy about that?
But at the same time, I also think the bishop so is like, is it
Okay, who cares about that? It's fine. There's nothing you can do about it. But you didn't lose him. He just told you to wait. He's cool. He's very, very cool. I'm gonna say it again, that guy is amazing. He didn't say, I don't ever want to talk with you again. He was very kind. And you can't see it as
political project?
you can't see it as you lost him. He just delayed. It would be the same as if he said to you, Tony, I had a family issue that arose and I can't do it now. I'll let you know in the future when I can do it again. Right? It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So don't feel badly. It's all gonna work out, okay? So don't be sad.
About that, what about that, the new
What is it?
in when we spoke about the fight, you was here and that is all
Who? Who? Ava?
yeah.
Yeah, she's really cool. Okay, tell me, is it super late there? Okay, well then you're gonna have to get some sleep. But uh, before you do, post your thing to Reddit, please. And then when you wake up in the morning, you'll have 50 people who maybe ask to be on your podcast. Okay? You had someone else on your other post that reached out to you. You didn't answer them. They said, "What's your podcast about?"
I was saying what it
Okay,
like
okay. Well, you get what I'm saying. You just have to um, respond to them and say, "Hey, I want you to know that I appreciate you reaching out. My podcast is about people and their lives, and if you'd like to be on it, or whatever you want to say." Again, I would have ChatGPT write it though, and not because anything against you, but it's just you're not careful. Like it would be as if I were writing a check. I would know what to write, and if there's like a little thing in check that I don't know, like, I want to come off as professionally as possible. So I would ask ChatGPT to write it in check, then I would copy and paste it. That's the smart thing to do. That way, you don't have any misspellings. You're not using English.
before I go to sleep, I need at least book, one, one.
Okay.
I'm going to sleep.
Yes, exactly. And here's your win. You are struggling to get this post posted in podcast guest exchange. Podcast guest exchange. You still can't get it. I looked. I checked. I still haven't seen you post it.
Yeah.
So that would be a big win for you because you bitched and moaned all this morning. I don't want to do it. I can't do it. I can't figure out how to do it.
Yes.
So that's your win.
Yes.
You still don't know how to do it. You still don't know what a tag is. You got to figure it out. And I'm telling you, don't do it on your phone. Do it on your computer. Log into Reddit. Get your post ready. Find the tags. Find the the flare and get that thing posted. And once you get that thing posted, when your head hits the pillow, you'll know that people are going to be reading this and they're going to be sending you DMs and stuff. You already got 4 people to be on your podcast.
And one is cancels the job.
I know.
The same thing.
Absolutely.
Same thing.
I agree. And you fought me on this. You know that, right?
Yes. And I'm good to even admit.
Good. Good.
Why I find it, I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me why. Absolutely.
Because you sometimes, you are too much short. You sometimes, you...
Stop. When we're talking, not that I'm not listening to you, but I want you to use English correctly. If you say someone's a pushover, it means that they are cowardly and that they're easy to lead. What you're saying to me, and I understand that you're right, is I'm pushing. Not push over, I'm pushing. And you're right, because I want the best for you.
Yeah, but this when in the future will be big problems when people will try to live and they are more sensitive and they didn't understand what vision. So this can be problem in the future because you don't know what not right now or not.
You should know. You're right. You're right. But you should know. I flex my approach for them. If I know someone can't handle me, I'm very kind to them. I'm very soft to them. Like, here's someone, just as an example. Miss Aquarius. I flex my approach for her because she doesn't want me to be pushy. She doesn't have time for me to be pushy. And so I wouldn't be pushy with Miss Aquarius because I am. You're tough, or you're becoming tougher. And you sometimes need someone to light a fire under you to get stuff done. So I can be harsher when I can't be with Miss Aquarius or someone brand new who came in here. I'm going to be very, very kind to them. I'm going to be very gentle to them. I'm going to be very reinforcing to them. I'm going to be very patient. With you, I've seen all your bullshit. And I know that you're going to procrastinate. I know you're going to put this stuff off. And I also know that we're good enough friends that I can be tough on you. And I know that you're strong enough that you'll be able to take it. You'll say, I won't be back for 3 days. And I know you'll be back later in the day. And I love it, and I love having you here, and I love seeing you succeed, and all the other good things. But you can say what you want, I know. But I know that I'm pushy with you. Because you know why? If I weren't, you wouldn't have had that Reddit post earlier. You wouldn't have a Spotify account if I weren't pushing you. If I didn't push you, we would have done one episode of a podcast, and we would have never connected. I had to be pushing you. I had to say, Tony, do you have a link tree? You're like, what's a link tree? Oh, a link tree is where you get all your social media. Oh, no, I don't have it. I have a LinkedIn. No, I didn't say LinkedIn. I said link tree. Oh, okay. Tony, do you have a Rumble account? No, what's a Rumble account? Rumble account is a place where other people can find your content. Tony, are you on iTunes or Apple Music? No, I'm not. You consider yourself to be a podcaster, but you're not on Apple Podcasts? Yeah. You know Apple Podcasts, like the place to be? Yeah. Like, you get what I'm saying? I've had to be pushing. And I'm going to be pushing with you until we get this podcast guest exchange. Then I'm going to celebrate it. I'm going to celebrate that you were able to figure this out. Because you want to know something? I don't know exactly what the error is that you're getting of me, and I want you to see it through. So before you go to bed tonight, you got to get this done. Let me ask you. I'm just going to take it one step at a time. Are you logged into your Reddit account? Yes or no? I'll wait.
Yes. I am on right now.
Okay. So here's what I would do if I were you. I would open up 2 tabs of Reddit because you're going to need to copy and paste from one to the other. So just open up 2 tabs of Reddit.
I am on 3.
Okay, did I say 3? just do two. When I say two, you do two. If you say, is it okay if I do three? I'm going to tell you sometimes, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Other times I'm going to say, no, I want you to focus, two. Right now I want you to focus with two. Okay, are you ready? Okay, in the first one, I want you to go to your post that was in guest exchange, not podcast guest exchange, just podcast guests. Go to the podcast guest one, the one that's live podcast, the one that to which people are responding. I want you to have that post open. You have that post open? Okay, okay, excellent. Now go to the second tab on Reddit and go to podcast guest exchange.
Yeah, I am on that.
Okay, podcast guest exchange. All right, you're there.
Some, yeah, somebody just doing what I need to do. Somebody doing everything I need to do. That's interesting.
Okay, what do you mean?
Like somebody just looking for photos, or starting out music and small podcast.
Okay, so why don't you
It's
say
can be
apologies for that?
this can be like to getting to find what I need to say. It's can be cool.
Okay, let's not focus on that person right now. Don't get distracted. Are you creating a new post?
Yeah, I think I have. I think I
Remember what I said? Don't have it counted. So you could say you're too confident because you've already been rejected like 3 times or 5 times. So when you say, I think I've done it, do you really? If you do, then okay. But don't have too much confidence. You can say, so far, so good.
so far so good. I
And
have a post.
is it is it is it live?
Not yet. I'm very worried to
Okay, why are you worried about it? You just did it. You did it in the other place, and you got 4 different people who connected with you.
I am going to the post of my podcast. I'm looking for interesting message for conversation. I'm looking
Stop. Wait, stop. Remember what I said a little bit earlier where I said you're skipping words in English? Okay, read the sentence again. I'm looking for, stop. Is it story or stories?
Story.
Read it again.
I am open to anyone story.
Is it with unique story or with a unique story?
Unique story.
Did you write this or did ChatGPT?
Chat GPT.
How is story spelled?
STORY. Story.
Send it to me in Discord. There's something off. Is it the same text that you posted the other one? Okay. And another thing that we need to do is we need to get Discord working on your computer. That's a big thing. No, it's not. Why do you always have to put, like, why do you have to make a mountain out of a molehill? That's an easy thing. Why do you think it's going to be hard? And not just hard, but very hard. Okay. I'm going to look at it now. Right now. Okay. Looking for guests every week. Podcast seeking guests. Hi, everyone. I'm the host of my podcast, and I'm looking for interesting guests to join me for conversation every week. I'm open to almost anything with me. It is with a unique story. You are reading the A. So read it again. I'm open to. Correct. Keep going.
Is it good?
Keep reading. I want to hear you read it.
Expertise, experience, project, action, or perspective for sharing. If you need interviews or have interviews, podcast experience, I am interested in building
No,
conversation.
no. I'm interested. Not
I'm
I'm
interested in having
you need help with this word. Okay, so continue reading. I'm interested.
in genuine conversation.
Hold on. Genuine conversations.
Genuine
Yes.
conversations.
Good.
With interesting people all around the world.
Good.
I am looking for new guests.
Wait, is it I am?
I'm
Exactly.
looking for new guests every week. So if you are interested,
Hold on. Is it you? Is it you are?
if you are
It's not you are. It's your.
interested, you are.
No, it's not you are.
If you are,
It's your.
you're
Exactly.
interested
Yes. Exactly.
or know someone would be great.
Hold on. You just missed a word. Or know someone who would be.
Who would be great fit.
Hold on. You missed another word. Hold on. Or know someone who would be a great fit. You missed two things. And I need you to focus on these when you're reading English. You missed articles the, a, and an a lot. And then you also, with plural and singular, like adding an S to it, sometimes you accidentally add an S and sometimes you miss an S. And that's not a big deal. That's easy to fix. But if you want to sound more eloquent, you want to sound more like an English person, English speaker, you need to focus on it. Okay, you're doing really well. So take it from the last paragraph. I'm looking for new guests every week. No. Is it I am? Is it I am? Is it I am? No. I am is I. Yeah, there you go. Good.
I'm looking for guests every week. So if you are interested,
Perfect. Hold on. So it's if you're interested, not your interest, and or no, not or new. You're good. You got it. Take it again. Start again. I'm looking for new guests. Let's hear that again.
Your photo is really by me mention.
I don't need to do anything. I'm doing this for your own good.
I am looking
Hold on. Is it
for
I am? Is it I?
guests.
Hold on. Is it I am?
I am
Yes.
no. It's from the so I'm looking for guests every week.
Hold on.
So
Is it guesses? Is it guest? Is it? I know. But just think. Is it guesses or is it guests?
Yes,
Exactly. Let's hear it again. I'm looking for new guests.
last time.
Maybe. Let's see if you get it. It's all on you.
Maybe I am looking for guests every week. So if you are interested,
It's not you are. It's your.
or
That's just, it's wait. Hold on. It's your interested, and it's or no. It's not or new, but that's okay. I'm looking for new guests. Here, I'll read it for you. I'll read it for you. I'm looking for new guests every week. So if you're interested or know someone who would be a great fit, comment below or send me a DM. Let's hear you read. Would you please?
it's take a look.
Okay. I mean, that's a cool story.
I am looking down right now.
You're not having a mental breakdown. Can you read one sentence for me? Just read this one sentence for me. It will be a win. You want to win? This is a win. Read this sentence for me.
I am looking for new guests every week. So if you're interested or knew someone who would be a great fit, comment below or send me a DM.
Okay, pretty good. Now, do you see where it says or know someone? You're saying or knew someone. Not a big deal, but it's not no big deal. Okay, this looks like a good. Uh, this looks like a good post. So, uh, yeah, I would. I think you're ready to post it.
I am
Yes, sir.
you think I am ready to make this happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's perfect.
Okay, so I am doing this right now. Right?
Well, hold on. So the first line where it says IRTR live podcast looking for guests every week, that's the title. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And then the body starts podcast seeking guests. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I think it's ready.
Okay. And it's done. You can look at it.
Hold on. Don't ever have it counted, especially with Reddit. So now what you want to do is open an incognito window. And you want to check it because sometimes Reddit will say something is posted and it will look posted, but you're shadow banned and it's actually not posted. It looks beautiful. Good job. You did it. That's a big one. And you read that sentence.
My intentions to post from Reddit.
And when
It's
you
not going to real purpose.
guess what? That guy didn't say no. He just said you're not ready. We have to get you to be ready. It's, you're going to be much more professional because of it. Look, I told you the things that you could do to be more professional, and you didn't do them. You didn't. You didn't send out an email beforehand. You didn't send out a calendar invite. Okay, but now that you didn't do that, you don't have a background like with green screen. Uh, there's no intro. Okay, but now that you know that those things are important to be prepared, this is going to be a lesson for you. And if we're going to show you how to do an intro. We'll have you make an intro with some nice music, and at the beginning of all your podcasts, they will play. Like when I'm on these podcasts, the way that it works is they say, this is how it goes. They send me the Riverside link or whatever. I connect at whatever time they meet. They usually meet with me early, and they say, "Hi, Rabbi, pleasure to meet you. Is there anything you don't want to talk about?" And usually I'm like, "No, it's fine, whatever you want." And then they say, "Okay, so what's going to happen is I've got an intro. I'm going to mute you. I'm going to do my introductory and just welcome everybody, and then I'm going to bring you in." That's usually how it works. And look, I'm a perfect person who you can test this stuff out with, and we can do practice versions of this. So that's when you do that, that means you're like a professional individual. It's more things that make it seem like you know what you're doing. And so you're like, well, I don't know how to do it. Okay, we'll teach you how to do it. We'll get some, like, generally all we need is a title card, which is just a thing that says Life Podcast and just some music over it. It's like a 15-second thing that runs at the beginning of your podcast that just welcomes people in. Does that make sense? Okay, so we don't have to do that now. You were able to post this, and now when you awake, you might have another 6 people. That would be 10 new people to be on your podcast. If I said to you earlier today, "Hey, you know we're going to have 10 new people on your podcast," you'd be like, "That's great." And I'd be like, "I know. I know that doesn't seem that great to you right now because of this guy, but you can't let that get you down. You have to recognize that this guy didn't say no. He just said you have to be more prepared. And it's a lesson to you, and I'm going to teach you how to be more prepared. We're going to send out an introductory email. We're going to send out calendar invites. We're going to send out the Riverside invite in advance. You're going to have an intro to your podcast, perhaps. You're going to have an outro to your podcast, perhaps. When's the outro, you may ask? It tells you where to join the Patreon. You can even put Patreon members on there. I've seen a big thing that people do. It is if anybody is a Patreon member, they can be on the outro. They're like your credits. That motivates people to be like, "Hey, I'm helping this podcast," and it shows that you've got more people who are here, like supporting you. You wouldn't do that right now because you have, don't have that many people. But once you get 5 or 10 people on your Patreon, you put them at the end and you say thank you to our sponsors, right? Does that make sense? Okay. And then in your outro as well, it'll have where to get all of your social media. It'll say how to join your pod your podcast. You know when we did that uh, that that closing that we're going to show on all of our timeline podcasts. You know what I'm talking about? It'll be a similar thing, but it's so that you at the end of your podcast don't have to say every single time, "Go to lifepodcast.linktree.com." Don't go to @lifepodcast. You don't have to say all that. It'll just be done every single time. Make sense?
Yeah.
But when you have that, that makes you look more professional. Wouldn't you agree? When you see a podcast have that kind of stuff, it looks more professional. Oh, that's valid. I'm glad that you would say that. Then, yeah, I agree. Whatever, Rabbi, just shut up. And that's something that you should do because you should watch some other people's podcasts so that you become more professional. There's another thing that you can do to be more professional. Sometimes in the corner, they'll have their logo on the podcast. Do you know what I'm referencing? we can put your logo in the corner. And that's all done through OBS. We'll just get you better with it. I know you're like, I know how to do it really well, but there's some things on OBS that we can do to make it look a little bit more professional. And if you're like, Rabbi, I don't want to do all this, okay, that's fine. But professional people will not think that you're as professional as you could be. I nearly guarantee, even with the issues that you experience of not being able to find the paperwork, if you had rehearsed the questions and you had an intro, you had an outro, you had sent him an email before, and the calendar invite, he wouldn't be in this situation. He'd be promoting yourself. So it just takes a couple of things that we need to add. And I really think that the green screen is a good idea for you. It'll make it look really cool. You can have whatever you want. You don't have to have a green screen in the background. You can do it digitally. What kind of green screen would you want if you could have anything? What'd you say?
Library.
A library. Exactly. I think that's a really good thing. Did you see? I even got Reverend Andrew to get a green screen. If I can get him to get a green screen, don't you think we can get you to get a green screen? You don't think that if I can get Reverend Andrew to get a green screen, that we can't get Tony of Life Podcast to get a green screen? What makes you think that you're better than Reverend Andrew? Sweet dreams. Good job. Oh, you're gonna still be you. You're just like a cranky. You're gonna be Reverend Andrew in 40 years, maybe. You're just cranky. Yeah, it's better to not be as cranky. But you're okay. Um, did you respond to that other person on the podcast? Yes. So I can go there right now and see that you replied to everybody. Okay, we're gonna check. Okay, so I see the guy who said, "Hey, if you ever want to discuss uh, testicular cancer, happy to come on and share my perspective." Why didn't you respond to that? Okay, but why didn't you say underneath his post idea?
I did.
No, you didn't. You didn't propose the fight. You look at it. You replied somewhere randomly, but it shows you don't know how to read it that well when you do that, and it's fine, no big deal. But it doesn't look like you responded. Just look at it yourself. And somebody else replied to you. I'm not able to. Can you send it to my email? So send it to this guy. Did you email him? Okay, that's good. So the guy who said, "Hey, if you ever want a testicular cancer survivor on, happy to come on and share my perspective." You want to press reply, and then you say, "Sent you a DM." You know that? And then the thing where you say, "I would love that. I sent you DM." You want to delete that one because that's not replying to anything. Does that make sense? And then you want to email that guy. You want to email that guy, and if I may ask, did you get any more karma for your answers that you gave in Ask Reddit?
Two people. That's
Oh, okay. It was so much work.
yeah.
It was good enough to get you to be able to post that other one, right? You kept saying to me, "I haven't been there long enough. I need karma. I need reputation," and we got that for you like that, right? Do you know what cheat codes are in a video game? You don't know what cheat codes are in a video game?
I know.
Yeah, guess what? Rabbi's your cheat code for life.
This is
Maybe that's what I do. I'm the king of copying. I know this. But let's think about this. You wouldn't be on Reddit right now. You wouldn't have four guys lined up to be on your podcast. You wouldn't have just posted this thing. You like I know these things, at least in social media, but you can say, well, Rabbi, you've got 200 people who follow you on your YouTube channel. I know, but I don't ever ask anybody to follow them because I get paid. That's my issue. But for this other stuff, hey, how do I get karma on Reddit? That's a slick little way that we did it, isn't it? Exactly. So some of this stuff I know. If you're like, hey, okay, Rabbi, how do I get 5 million people to like my thing on social media? Get a pretty girl to talk about whatever you do. That's the way. You know this.
I could have this but so I think so able to be like that's not so of the today. Yeah.
I'm in agreement. Okay, so I am looking at your. Okay, good. So you have to delete that one. It said I would love that. I sent you the. So here's something. Here's something. You wrote, I would love that. I sent you DM. That does not make you look that educated. The way that you would have done it is you put that in the chat GPT and it would have told you, I would love that, period. I sent you a DM, period. Okay? So when you're doing something publicly, you need to ask ChatGPT or make sure it looks good in ChatGPT. Because you want to look professional, right? The reason why this guy bailed on you is because of a lack of preparation and professionalism, correct?
Yeah.
So you should know that your English is good enough. For speaking, it's great. For writing, you need to ask ChatGPT every single step of the way. And it's not because I don't have confidence that you can do it. It's just the barrier, the issue. If you do something wrong, is so great that it can hurt you. Okay, if you misspeak in a sentence or something like that, it's not that big. But on social media, you need to make sure, at least if it's in English, that it is double checked with ChatGPT everything for the next year, maybe 5 years. I'll tell you this: even with my emails, I put in a ChatGPT many times just because I make sure I don't just that everything's perfect. And it's such a beautiful tool. It's free. Why not utilize it, right? If I'm a native speaker and I use it, you should be using it. Does that make sense? Okay, good. All right, I have nothing more to add. I think you did a really good job. I think you learned an important lesson. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. I think that we're only going to learn from this. And just like you said, it's not going to be too long. We're going to be laughing about this. That guy's going to be on your podcast in the next 6 months or so, maybe the next year. And he's going to be blown away by how many more of the episodes you've put out and how professional you've got. Okay? All right. So, what are your goals for tomorrow?
Tomorrow I have the interview.
Which interview?
I will be guest.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so that's great. And what else?
I will be posting some episodes for my YouTube.
Okay, I'm just gonna correct what you said. It's not I will going to be. It's I am going to be. I am going to be posting some of those episodes. Exactly, that's good. Some of those episodes on my YouTube. That's great. And uh, if you have the chance, come in here tomorrow and let's work on your OBS and we'll make it look really slick. Okay. And don't worry about your camera. Your camera is fine. What we need to do is just work on your intro, your outro, your background, that kind of stuff. Again, if I can get Reverend Andrew to get that background, I can get Tony of Life podcast. Okay?
What I this is I what I this is complicated situation with all the comedy.
With our comedian,
Yeah,
what does that mean?
we can shoot. We can shoot.
What about Zoom?
Because if I let this thing like 2 million man, shoot will be it will be like you texting me about today about right now. I am I would just chance with him too.
Get out of here. Zoom's easy. All I need to do is put a little bit of pressure on Zoom and get a time down. So that's the big thing. So long as you'll do it on his time, he'll do it. But you have to understand, Zoom doesn't like his face being on uh, the internet. He's one of those kind of people. Even though he's done podcasts in person with his face on the internet, so it's no big deal. If anything, you could say to Zoom, if you don't want to have your face on the internet, he will. Don't worry. You just say you can do an audio podcast. That's something that you can say to Zoom. But don't worry, look at Zoom. Zoom's easy. Worry about the. Did you send the email to the guy who said send you an
Was I talking to you?
I know. So I'm gonna shut up. And I want you to not just type an email like you know all the words of the English language. Just say in the chat GPT, how do I respond to this guy? And then it'll just write you the best email ever. You copy, you paste it, and then you delete that one comment that you have on Reddit, and you're gonna be good as new, okay?
Uh, I like
Good to go.
what was your first thought when I said like I do it this
I wasn't shocked at all. Because you had already said, Rabbi, everything that could have gone bad did go bad. And I understand I've had those kind of days in my life. I mean, I have twice the amount of experience in life that you do, and even more from an adult perspective. So I dealt with those kind of things. It didn't shock me. Even if you would have been on your podcast, it wasn't a life changing event. It was great because you would have been the biggest influencer that you would have had. But guess what? Every week you get somebody bigger and bigger. You got the UFC guy, you got the soccer guy. Now you're going to be on a podcast. I mean, every week something new is happening with you that's really great. So give it a few weeks and you'll get somebody and get five million. It didn't surprise me. And really deep down, why didn't it surprise me? Because I just know how you prepare. You don't prepare enough, and you need to. And um,
so it was just kind of time that this happened.
that's exactly. You're ex- you're exactly
Because
exactly right. You're exactly right. It was bound to happen because it's like you're just not prepared enough, and you're not professional. Exactly. And I warned you, like, hey, you need to put out these things for people, and you got to review your questions. And maybe perhaps I didn't say you should read it aloud, but now you know. You need to read them aloud 25 times. And you need to listen to yourself when you do these things. We'll work through it. It's not that big of a deal. It's not hard for us. Imagine this guy said this to you, Tony. Tony, I don't like the way that this podcast is run. I'm never going to be on your podcast. You're not allowed to publish this. And I am going to make a post on my social media that tells everyone not to be on your podcast. What would you do in that case?
this is the worst case.
It's bad. I don't know if it's the worst, but it's bad. No, it could always be worse. This guy could have said, I know somebody who works at YouTube and I'm going to have them delete their channel. That it could get worse. Anything, it can always get worse. But yeah, this would be a very bad scenario. So imagine that bad scenario. What would you do in that situation?
Uh, I I will be
I'll tell you what you do in that situation. You tell them. I respect your opinion. I want you to know that I did not mean for our discussion to go the way that it did. It was not my intention to offend you. I want you to know that I am growing. I will continue to grow. I will use this as a lesson to get better. If possible, can you please not put this out publicly? I would hope that you could understand my position. If there's anything that I can do in the future, please let me know. I would love to be able to put this behind something. And he would be very apologetic. But he's not like that. He's super cool. He's like, hey, 6 months a year, we'll do it again. If you're going to impress him so much, okay? And you know what, Tony? I would say none of this is a positive thing. You were beautiful. Where did you say beautiful? That, hey, I was able to get a guy who's different. And that doesn't mean maybe in the future I'll be able to get some other people like that. You're absolutely right. But look at it this way. You only have like 35 podcasts, right? In a year, you're going to have like 200 podcasts. And now when the guy blows you up in a year, it's a lot more to blow up. Does that make sense? Another thing, and I don't know if you've been doing it, I don't know if you've been doing this, but when you have a guy on your podcast, are you saying to him, I'd like to do this podcast, I would like to do this interview again in another year, connect with you?
Like, uh, I'm doing Korea for the next month or this.
No, 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 no. Every podcast you do with someone, you should say, I really enjoyed our conversation together. I'd like to, at a minimum, 1 year from now, have a follow up. Would that work for you? If not, in the meantime, if something happens in your life or my life, I'd like to reconnect with you. But in a minimum, 1 year from now, let's
Everybody saying it on this one. Everybody saying it and it will be on your shoulders.
okay.
I don't need to say it.
Wait, but you should. And that reinforces in their mind you didn't say it to me. So everybody may say that, but if you didn't say it to me, I know you didn't say it to other people. It's just something that you should say that you should always be like on your checklist. Hey, I want you to know how much I appreciate it. Are you sending people thank yous? I know you're saying
Yeah,
that.
I get it.
I don't think you're doing what I said.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Every episode, I DM you. Thank you so much for
That's not what I said. I sent an email. Did I not?
yes, bro. Can I go fucking sleep, please?
But email that guy first.
I yes, I did it.
Okay. And hold on. I'm gonna go look at the post. Okay, so ask ChatGPT to say, how would you say I emailed you? All you have to do is just say I emailed you. You don't need ChatGPT for that. But I would say to that person, thank you, period, I emailed you. Why would I do that? Because it shows that you are taking initiative. When other people see this, they're like, oh, this life podcast guys are real go-getters. They're like following up with people. Does that make sense? Good. I see that you now the one guy said, I'm interested and would like to join you for an episode. And you said send me DM. Why did you say send me DM? Why didn't you DM that person?
I because at the time I was like 18 plus for my work. And I already did.
Okay, but to the outside world, it makes you look lazy. It would look better if you said, I sent you a DM. Did you send that guy a DM?
Yes.
Okay, then I would delete this send me DM, and I would say I sent you a DM. Please get back to me when you can, or whatever. Do you realize that in the outside world,
This is your email.
no, not an email. No, there's another guy there who said, I'm interested and would like to join you for an episode. And you said, send me DM. What you should say is, I sent you a DM. Please.
I know that.
Okay. So, because the people who are in the outside world, they're looking at this Reddit post, it makes you look like you are active, not that you're passive. You're expecting people to contact you. You'll contact them. And that's what you want it to look like. You're saying, send me DM here on Reddit. I'm not able to. Could you send me an email to it? You just want to look active, not passive. I'm not going to harp on you anymore. I've been tough on you, no doubt about it. But I think you can take it, and you're just going to become better for it.
We need to have a fight in the ring.
We need to have a fight in the ring.
A ring. A ring.
Oh, I'll whoop you.
No, you don't know, never. You never need
My friend, I just sit on you. I double your weight. I double your muscle.
I am practical, so I can like have more hits.
All I have to do is bear hug you, like take you down, and then just use my weight and sit on you. That's it. It's over. You're done. You're kind.
But like, you need to touch me.
My friend, I have bigger arms than you do. I'm taller than you are. I just have to wrap you up.
So, that way. And then when you
My friend, I could have beaten you when I was 22. I can beat you at 40. I'll be able to beat you at 60. And with life extension technology into the future.
no, no,
I'm gonna I'm gonna tell you this. Not only will I beat you, I'll beat you easily. It won't be hard. It won't even be challenging. Might not even sweat. I'm just telling you the truth. You want to hear the truth? I'm telling you the truth.
you are not going to. No,
What's up, big dog?
I will not let you listen to a person. Amazing picture. Amazing picture you have.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Go ahead.
You think people survive apocalypse, like zombie apocalypse or this kind of things?
That's not what kind of apocalypse. Nuclear apocalypse. That stuff is
So
survive. Zombie. Uh, I would need better preparation. I think do better than most people. I'm in the zombie apocalypse subreddit where people literally just create scenarios of how to survive a zombie apocalypse, including like building castles with moats and like having like giant guns and helicopters and stuff. So I mean, I'm better prepared than most people. Most people aren't in that subreddit, including you.
I will never choose to be my partner.
Right, and that's why you would die very early. the zombies would recognize this person isn't very well prepared. Rabbi, on the other hand, is in the zombie subreddit and is very well prepared because for years he's been getting all of the good information on how to survive the zombie apocalypse.
Because I got the program that I didn't have physics, didn't have anything.
You don't need good physics. You don't need to be strong physically. You need to have good weapons, good defense, and you need to maintain a high ground. That's a big thing. You need supplies, which are really important. Like you don't need to be able to fight. If the zombies get to you physically, whether you're 10 feet tall or 2 feet tall, you're done because they're going to swarm you. You need good preparation. You need high ground. You need to be able to like, generally have a lot of food, a lot of water. You need to be able to have a place to go to the bathroom. You have to understand that the zombie apocalypse, you have to do something with the bodies. Like if you're killing a bunch of them, what they will pile up, and you need to be able to like prepare for them. I mean, I'm in the. Let me just ask you this: name a one other person that you know who's in the zombie apocalypse subreddit. I'll wait.
I have no
Yeah, I'm the one person. I'm the one person in your life who even knows that this subreddit exists. And yet you're telling me that I would not be a good person in the zombie apocalypse. I'm the one person who gets all the good information from the people who survived the zombie apocalypse. And you're saying I wouldn't be good because I couldn't fight them physically. It shows how little you know about the zombie apocalypse. If the zombies get to you physically, you're done because they swarm you. So it's not about how many can you fight off with your bare hand. You don't want them getting close to
but I need someone who is savage. I need someone who can hear other people.
you. Incorrect.
If
Incorrect. 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 You need someone who's smart. You much rather would have someone who's smart than savage. Because guess what? The savage guy will lose out to 3 or 4 zombies when they attack him. The smart guy will say, Tony, we need to take a high ground. We need to be in a tower. We need lots of food, lots of water, maybe a helicopter to get away if we need. We're going to use these types of weapons. We need this kind of ammo. We need to be able to prepare ourselves when the bodies start to rot because we've killed off so many of them. They're going to start climbing over each other and all over their own bodies. So we need an escape plan. That's what you need. You need a smart person. You don't need someone who's, hey, I can fight off a zombie one versus one, because that's not how zombies fight. It shows how little you know about the zombie apocalypse if you think they fight one versus one. They swarm, and you have to be ready for them, like bees.
but what about other people? You need to be for other people. You need to be for
You, and it's a apocalypse. Generally, it's the living people who unite against all of the zombies. You don't have to be. You don't have to unite against.
the show something.
No, Walking Dead showed the living people fighting off the zombies.
I the believe was that I getting people. I
Okay, so we stay away from that guy. I mean, but at that point, at that point, aren't you then just killing off living people, which goes against like the zombie apocalypse?
so I
I will tell you this: I'm better than anybody else in your life at preparing for the zombie apocalypse because I'm in the zombie apocalypse subreddit. Every day they put out castles and fortifications and houses and the different weapons that you would use in a zombie apocalypse, like what works well, what kind of guns you want, what kind of like do you want a baseball bat, do you want an axe, do you want a mace? what kind of cars to have in the zombie apocalypse, what kind of supplies to have in the zombie apocalypse. So I'm pretty well versed on all that kind of stuff because I see it on a daily basis. All the people that you know don't know any of that stuff. You would have somebody who's like, oh, well, I would just be in a castle. Okay, a castle's cool. Are you going to have a boat? And you kill these things, and then they pile up in the boat, and they climb over each other, and you start climbing the walls. What are you going to do then? How much food are you going to have? How much water? I mean, you don't even have anybody who you know about the zombie apocalypse who even talks about food and water. But I do. You know why? Because that's something that's discussed in survival of the zombie apocalypse. You're over here thinking like, oh, I need to be able to be around people who can fight them physically. No, if they get to you physically, you already lost.
I need to be around people who is like get
You want to say you want to like hold on, you didn't say it correct. You want to say I want to be around people who are physically able to, not people who physically. Yeah, that's okay. And everything that I've said is showing that I'm prepared. You don't know the right weapons to use. You don't know what kind of ammo you need. You don't know what kind of fortification you have. You don't know what kind of food and water that you need. I can tell you the right brands of food that are going to last for years. I can tell you how to keep your water clean. What's going to end up happening is the zombie apocalypse happens and a lot of disease gets spread. You have to keep your supplies clean. You need a supply chain, perhaps. You need a supply train. You need an escape route. Like these are things that you don't recognize. You're just looking at it physically, like, oh, this is an average individual from a size perspective and a fighting perspective. They're going to get mauled by zombies. I'm going to tell you this right now. Zombies will not come near me because I will be far away, shooting them from long range, hiding behind fortifications, and I will have escape routes. Or I will have a whole bunch of food and a whole bunch of water, and I'll be an underground bunker. One of the two. Or perhaps be on a boat. Maybe that's an option.
should I be on that? I need to have more side supplies for me.
Absolutely. If not, then somebody fortunately killed me, then I can come back as a zombie, and the first person I'm going after is Tony from the Life Podcast.
Why?
Just because you doubted me. I would take it personally as a zombie. And I would follow you to Transylvania or Pennsylvania or wherever you are, and I would haunt you. I would be the one waiting outside your door. And you could kill me again, and I would come back even harder the next time.
I'm ready to hear news of that countries now. Like, yeah, I'm gonna rent to or these kinds of people because it's not it's your friend.
Yeah, I'm a pacifist. I don't. I'm a pacifist. If anything, I would come up with some kind of technology that just freezes them or prevents them, like with a force field that never come near. Yeah, see, you're not even thinking of force fields for your zombie apocalypse. No, I know. And that's why I know that you're not well prepared for it. And you're not in the zombie apocalypse subreddit. Why aren't you in the zombie apocalypse subreddit?
Because I never idea.
Well, now I'm teaching you all of it, so you should join it. And they will teach you the right weapons to have, and the right fortifications, and the best places on Earth to go. All that stuff.
Can you introduce me as your apocalypse?
Yeah. Who else do you think? Else do you think I'm going to podcast during the zombie apocalypse? We're going to be saying, "Wow, this wasn't on our future timeline." We're going to be saying, I don't know if there's going to be a Women's World Cup in the year 2042 because these zombies won't get off the pitch. Oh, you're garbage to have a zombie apocalypse. If anything, you are a liability. You're not even in the zombie apocalypse subreddit. The people I want in the zombie apocalypse are at least in the zombie apocalypse subreddit. Have you joined the zombie apocalypse subreddit yet? I asked you a question, and now you're just making noises like an old man.
Yeah, I will be.
I will be.
Yeah, I am. There's a peaceful life practice. Yeah,
Yeah. Did you look up the other ones?
I think that.
Yeah. Type into zombie. Type into the search zombie. ZOMBIE. You don't know. You're not even in the right zombie apocalypse. Did you type in zombie?
Yes,
Okay. And then did you go to communities?
yes.
What communities do you see? Read it to me.
Zombies. Zombies who are zombies. Arab cultures zombies. Zombie army. Zombies. Zombies cross.
Yeah, so you're in zombie survival. All right, so at least you're in that. You should also be in zombies because you should know that they're going to be teaming up and planning within the zombie subreddit. And so you can get all kinds of insider information on zombies because they'll be like, hey, everybody, we're going to be going to Tony's house on Thursday. So everybody get ready. And you're like, oh, they're coming on Thursday. See, you have to be in there. How do you know? How do you know? Just because the Walking Dead didn't have working internet, you don't think that zombies could figure out the internet, or the zombies just don't leave the internet going so that they can join the subreddit?
Zombie apocalypse is being outsourced.
It's a potential. I'm not disagreeing with you. Big dog. We can talk about zombie apocalypse some other time. You need to get some sleep. You did a very good job today. You learned a lot of lessons. And you've got 4 people to be on your podcast in the future. And you're going to have a few more with the podcast guest exchange. And you can probably post them there once a month, both of those. And, that's a good way to get more people to be on your podcast, okay? I have another question. I know you didn't do this, but I would suggest that it's just something you're going to do in the future. Go through all of the podcasts and podcast guest exchange and podcast guests, and then you want to put an email address in there, send them an email. Yeah, you're smart, right? Yeah, and if you what do you no, my friend, what did I say? You have cheat codes for a video game, and Rabbi is your cheat code for life. Okay? You say, oh, you're so cocky. I know I am. You know why? Because I have the experience to show that my strategies work. If I were just taking guesses here, that would be overconfident. I can do this because I have confidence in my game. I know what I'm doing. I can tell you an even faster way to do this. You just have to put into the search the at symbol, and many times it will show you wherever the at symbol shows up, and that's usually in someone's email address, so all the email addresses show up. I'll let you figure that one out. I'm cheat codes for life, baby. Before you met me, you said you were a podcaster. You weren't even on Spotify. What kind of podcasters now on Spotify? What kind of podcasters now on Apple Podcasts? You said you did social media. You didn't have a Rumble. You didn't have a link. You didn't have a voice guide. You didn't have a Threads account. Do you have a Threads account now? No, you still haven't done that. You just, the first thing that I told you to do, the first thing, in our first meeting, I was like, hey, I'll send you the list. Oh, this is really good. 4 months go by. You still don't have it. I'm just it hasn't been 4 months. But, yeah. You got to focus on it. You got to say, I know you're busy. I get that. But instead of worrying about zombie apocalypse, worry about just getting your social media live. And you keep saying like, "Oh, get out of here with your zombie apocalypse." You know what the zombies are going to say? Tony isn't even worth our time. He doesn't even have his link tree organized. That's an easy thing to get organized. They're going to say, Tony, we feel badly for you. You're not even worth our time to devour. You don't even have your link tree organized. I go to your link tree. You're all over the place. You've got some icons at the top. You've got like 5 icons in the middle. You've got a picture of you at the park. Like, what is this? Come on. Get yourself together. Make it look professional. I even sent you like an introductory letter that shows you the way to do it. I think I made you look at it and you're like, yeah, that looks really good. I'm going to have that. And we're here 3 months